just before the fight, I'm looking at him. I said, sucker, you are in trouble tonight. You are fighting the greatest fight of all times. You heard I was the greatest, like you just said you heard this, now you see it. I said, you said I was the greatest, but you're gonna see. I'm fast, sucker. I'm gonna burn you up. You're fighting your idol. I talked through the whole fight. I said, come on, sucker. I said, show me something. They told me you could hit hard. You're just a sissy. Come on, sucker. Show me something. Oh, I grabbed his head sometimes and I said, look at you. Round 7. And you're tired. You have 8 more rounds to go. And he's just throwing them. He's breathing. I said, oh, you finished, boy. You are in trouble. I said, you don't have but 2 chances, slim and none.
That hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
I'm going to keep it a Google. I really think this comes down to an issue of class. And I'm not talking about like weight class, like heavyweight, lightweight, because they boxers. It's more so just having class about yourself. I don't understand how they got here. I heard a bit of this video before I decided to react to it. It's quite long, and it's called a part 1, so there may be a part 2. Not sure if we're going to follow this all the way through. However, Laila Ali is addressing Claressa Shields after repeated public statements from Claressa Shields that could be deemed disrespectful, challenging, disregarding. Seems like Claressa Shields created this whole scenario in her head that didn't really exist. I kind of like the way Laila Ali approached it. So with no further ado, let's see what these 2 female boxers have been up to.
There has been a whole lot of talk about the possibility of me making a comeback to boxing. And people have had a lot to say, but I have not addressed it until now. And I know everyone wants to know the answer to the question, will I be coming back? And I promise you, I'm going to give you that answer. But first, I have got to address the lies and the fake narrative that's been created years ago. Now, someone's gotten way too comfortable dragging my name and even using my father's name to get attention.
She a fool for the photo choice.
And clout. Now, in case you haven't heard it, her story.
She was nicer there.
Story is that I didn't support her and I
even nicer.
Didn't pass the torch because of my jealousy and envy over her accomplishments in boxing. She says that I disrespected her and I started talking about knocking her out simply because I was bitter that she's outdone me. I've seen a lot of the comments. Many of you have good discernment and understand what's really going on here, while others have believed her lies over.
Is that the natural shape of her chin? It look like she got 3 cheeks positioned in a triangle, her 2 cheeks, and that look like another cheekbone slightly smaller than her other cheeks.
Years, or have formed an opinion without having all the facts.
Maybe her jaw's been broken, or maybe that was a cosmetic procedure. You never know. As beautiful as she is, boy, you never know what type of things cause females to be insecure.
Now, originally, I wasn't even going to give this my time or attention because I really don't engage with people who thrive off of negativity, drama, and buffoonery. But I'm not about to let someone with bad character continue running freely, dragging my name without accountability.
That's not going to happen.
Come on now, listen. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
no, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
No, that is right.
Come on, Laila can rumble though.
And Wolf would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila oh so pretty ass out.
Man.
So this right here is the consequence. Now, I have been busy working on other projects that required all of my time and focus, which is why I'm just now saying something. But honey, I have made the time to address this. So today, the bad guy ain't getting away. Now let's hit rewind because we really need to see what's happened over the years, what got us here. Now, I'm not about to do the whole he say, she say thing, so let me show you some receipts. I first met her in 2012 when she was invited on stage to stand next to me when I gave my father his Liberty Medal. At some point, she reached out, started asking me for advice, wanted to know if she should go to the Olympics the second time or go pro. She would also call me and let me know when she was fighting. Now, at the time, I was one of the hosts of We Need to Talk, an all-female sports commentary show that still airs on CBS. I asked the producers if we could do a story on her. They agreed. So I got on a plane, flew to Colorado, and did a full sit-down interview with her. Now, this is just a shortened version of the 6-minute piece that aired on CBS in 2016. "21-year-old Claressa Shields is as confident as her right hand is powerful. Soon, Claressa will be heading to Rio for the Olympics to try and do something that has never been done before. I sat down to talk with her about changing history and being a positive spark for her hometown." You should have heard the story by now. The one about a kid from Flint, Michigan who has gone toe-to-toe with adversity and stands undefeated.
But I'll always go back to Flint and help.
I know that when I was fighting, any of my struggles that I had to overcome, or anything that I was upset about, whether it be something personal or something going on in the world, I would use that anger, and take it into the ring with me and channel that energy into the ring. Have you ever done that?
I did that a lot. I was going through stuff back at home, but I would have a boxing match and I would take out everything I was going through on the girl, and that kind of helped me because after I boxed, that was my ultimate high, and I felt like my life was perfect for at least 2 weeks. So
Claressa's father, a former underground fighter, was passionate about boxing.
he went on to tell me that Muhammad Ali, his daughter, Laila, took after him. And he's like, and my dad, he says it to this day, Layla's a bad girl. He says it all the time. He said, nobody in our family took up boxing. I thought when he told me that, he was telling me to take after him. Claressa beat the odds to win gold in 2012. When the Olympics start in August, she'll try to be the first American boxer to win back-to-back gold medals. Everybody's gonna be fighting you harder. Everybody's going to be trying to elevate their game. They're going to be running hard. They're going to be training hard. They're going to be dreaming about beating you. How are you preparing for that mentally and physically? Honestly, I've learned how to beat every fighting style. Tall girls, short girls, girls my size. Because I'm like, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty great, I don't know. You're supposed to feel that way about yourself. Yeah, like you wouldn't have been able to get to this level if you didn't feel that way about yourself. Yes. I don't know about you ladies, but I have absolutely no doubt that Claressa's going to win gold again in the Olympics. Women's boxing wasn't even in the Olympics when I was boxing, right. So I'm like, do it for us, because she's in the weight class I would have been in. So I'm like, go get it, girl, go get it. There's a lot of women who have been training for a long time and nobody knows who they are. So the Olympics just really gives them a platform and something to strive towards. I didn't even fight amateur because I was like, I can't go to the Olympics. Why should I do that? I wanted to be in control of my career. But it's so great to see these young girls coming up. You got 9-year-olds now and 10-year-olds, and they're inspired by people like Claressa. Now, as you can see, I was genuinely rooting for her. I gave her praise. I gave her a spotlight.
When she asked for advice, I gave her valuable branding advice and boxing advice so she could have long-term success in and outside of the ring. I told her about the challenges that I faced fighting at 168, where there was limited competition, and I suggested that if she decided to turn pro, she should consider going down in weight somewhere around 148, where she would have more competitive challenges. I told her she should hire a nutritionist, trim off that excess body fat, and get into elite next level shape. I pointed her in the right direction, and I had high hopes for her. Whether she decided to turn pro or not, I felt like her future was bright if she played her cards right. But of course, at the time, I was not aware of her divisive, vindictive, and malicious nature. And I know those are strong words, but they actually fit. This girl has created a pattern. It's been directed towards many people time and time again. Now, before we started our interview in Colorado, she said to me, "You're the name people say when it comes to women's boxing. You're the face they know. I want that to be me." Now, looking back after everything that's unfolded, it seems pretty calculated now. Like she was waiting for the right moment, the right excuse to finally do what she'd already made up her mind to do. I mean, that's how it feels now. She told me she saw me as the face of women's boxing, and she told me that she wanted my spot. And she's been on a mission to ruin my reputation ever since, simply because she heard me make a comment that was not about her and she took it personal. Fast forward to 2018, I was promoting my cookbook, Food for Life, and went on The Breakfast Club, a national show with millions of listeners. I did a 36-minute interview, and when the topic of boxing came up, I actually mentioned her and made positive comments. Then much later into the interview, I was asked about the possibility of a comeback.
Would you ever get back in the ring just for fun?
You still train?
Stay training.
Got you.
Yeah, I got a little baby six-pack right now.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have a heavy bag hanging in my. I just turned 40.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
No.
Amazing.
I know. I just turned 40. I can't believe it either. And because I think of my healthy lifestyle, the fact that I train all the time, I can pretty much do anything I wanted to. Well, I don't think there's anyone there for me right now that would actually give me a good challenge.
How did you and your husband argue? Because he can't, usually they say you can say something slick, but with you can't say that slickness.
You was on the Food Network's Chopped.
Yes.
And you won.
I did a couple times.
So what brings you more joy, winning in the ring or winning in the kitchen?
I just like to win, period. Definitely boxing is my first love, and, cooking is something that I'm super passionate about.
Gotcha.
It'll be a part of my life forever. I'm not somebody who sits back and complains about things. I think everything happens in due time. You got Claressa Shields now, who's an Olympic champion. She's a young black girl, came out of Flint, Michigan, lived a hard life, went through a lot. She went to the Olympics, won twice. Women's boxing wasn't in the Olympics when I fought. She actually fights at the weight class I fought in. And she's doing great. Women's boxing is getting some good attention. Now remember, at the time, we were on good terms. She was reaching out to me and referring to me as Big Sis. But this was her response.
I watched the Breakfast Club video with Laila. I have so much respect for her, and I like her. I actually call her my Big Sis, but it was so many shots thrown. Like, if y'all really paid attention, her saying, "Oh, there's not nobody good enough at 168, my weight class, that could give her a challenge when I'm the number one in my weight class." And, I'm just like, nah. And, I just feel like, she gave props where it's due, but she also spoke on how what I'm doing for women's boxing is great, but it's not great enough for her. When it's like we got two different goals and sets in life. Me winning 2 Olympic gold medals is just the beginning. You know, even when she was boxing, she never fought on Showtime, HBO. I fought the main event on Showtime. I don't know how many times now. You know, fastest woman to win a world title. I did it in 4 fights. You know, and yeah, you can say, oh, the competition isn't there, and this girl wasn't that. But like I did it up in 4 fights, and the girls that Laila Ali fought wasn't, you know, that great either. I mean, like, I'm the best female boxer that I've ever seen, and you know, if Laila Ali wants to come back, we can rumble. We can. Go. You know, this is not like, oh, I'm gonna step away. I respect her and everything, but you know, you're not gonna come back and beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can happen. You know, I just don't like the disrespect. And this is my last video too about this. You know, I never used her name to try to be like, you know, try to call her out of retirement. It's basically like she talking about she come out of retirement, she just gonna beat me if she decided to.
Now, of course, I didn't respond to this, but I noted it. For someone who hardly had any experience as a professional boxer and who was supposedly looking up to me, for her to think that I would even call her name in a conversation about me fighting or making a comeback was silly to me. Especially since I had literally told her that I retired from boxing because I didn't feel inspired or challenged anymore by the level of competition that was available to me. We had that talk. So I learned a lot about her character and her mindset. She took what I said out of context and made it all about her. I decided I was no longer going to invest time or energy into her. But she, on the other hand, she took it straight to social media, started comparing her boxing skills to mine, making negative comments about me, and pitting herself against me in a fight. A year later, I was doing press for my show Homemade Simple on OWN, so I went on Sway Universe, another syndicated national show with millions of listeners. We were talking, he asked me about boxing, he asked me about her, I said positive comments as usual, then he plays one of her visits.
Are you watching women's boxing today?
Oh, yeah.
You like Claressa?
I do. I like.
Yeah.
I think that she's a talented fighter, and she has the opportunity right now. The stage is set, you know, so now she just has to kind of do her thing. I
Talk about Homemade Simple, airing Saturdays, 9 a.m. on the OWN network. Okay, it's an incredible show. I had Claressa here, right? I asked her who did she think would win and you against you in your prime and her now. And this is what she said.
She's not cut like me. She don't take the challenges. Like, she didn't fight against Ann Wolf. I fight against the best and beat the best. And if Laila Ali was to come out of retirement, I beat her too.
That's not anything I haven't heard before. First of all, she's supposed to feel like she's the greatest.
Absolutely.
But just because you think you are doesn't mean you are.
Okay.
I like to support and uplift people, and I think that on your way up, just do your best not to disparage those that have come before you. First of all, she could never beat me.
Okay.
Let me just get that straight right now.
You want to get that straight, Laila?
Let's get that straight right now.
Okay.
And not simply because she's not strong enough, okay, because I would definitely knock her out. But because she's not talented enough to beat me. It's a sweet science to boxing. The reason why you have not been able to knock out the opponents that you've already faced, I can totally see it. Why? But maybe if you would have been a little more respectful, and I'm not talking about thinking you can beat me and call it, that, do all that. I'm talking about just trying to, she didn't do this, she didn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't respect her as a boxer. I only respect her as a businesswoman. I've heard her say that before. I was always there for her because she's a young black girl from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah,
And I want to help uplift her because that's the Ali way. I am successful in so many areas outside of boxing. Boxing is not what defines me. There's always going to be another girl. But I tell you what, when I offered her to spar me, that definitely was a check right there to see. Let me see what kind of heart she has. You should come whoop me just for bragging rights. And she didn't take me up on that offer. I said, okay. And let's put this in context. I'm only talking about this because you're asking me.
She's done a ton of interviews since then, and she's always saying I disrespected her. Now you've seen what she's been referring to. So she felt justified to go on a tirade. And of course, she's twisted the story over the years and taken my comments out of context. Now, according to her, I just started talking about knocking her out just out of jealousy. Now you've seen what I said, what she said, how this started, and you can see she pitted herself against me in a fight. Now, I know some of this younger generation may not be familiar with me, but I've never been one to just talk about things I can't do. When I said that I would knock her out back in 2019, it wasn't any different than what I've said to anyone who's challenged me in the past. You can go back and look at tape on me. That was not just talk for me, it's what I did. TKO, KO, it didn't matter. I was gonna stop you. It wasn't going to a decision. And if you didn't belong in there with me, I was gonna get you out of there. That's just facts. That's not disrespect, that's boxing talk. Back then in 2020, I did get to a point where I was ready to get back in the ring and show her why, even though she is talented, I said it back then and I'm saying it now, but she could never outbox me. High-level promoters did reach out to me directly and we had some serious conversations about me making a comeback. Now, of course, she was never even involved in any of those discussions. Then COVID happened, you know how that was, and it all went away and I left it alone. Now, here is just a small glimpse of the narrative that she's been building over the years.
But I feel like Laila Ali has always been kind of envious of me. I'm just so accomplished in women's boxing, and she never got that due diligence and that respect. So to see me getting it kind of pisses her off. So you look at who she fought. Her biggest test was freaking Vonda Ward and Christy Martin. And Christy Martin weighed in at 140 pounds, and Laila Ali was 160. Like, how are you making matches like that? So Laila Ali is a hater. That's it. Nothing but her being a hater and her being, envious of my success and what I've done for women's boxing. And she feels like she deserves that credit because everybody kind of give it to me now. And I think that she's like, but I'm an Ali daughter and I boxed before her and I'm 24-0 with 21 knockouts, and she kind of want people to keep acknowledging her. She's retired.
She's retired.
And
she's
been
probably
retired for
43.
a long time. 43. I hate when somebody else try to take somebody else's shine, somebody else's attention. It's like she's, nobody was trying to take her attention when it was her time. Undisputed champion. She's never been undisputed. And people are comparing me to her, and she gets offended. When it was like, to me, I thought it was a good comparison because I feel like I box way better than her. And for them to be saying that me and her are equal or whatever, she should have been happy because of that, because they're giving her more props on her skills, which I feel like she didn't really have that much. But, whatever. Yeah, we had Laila Ali. Respect. But she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing. I'm going to be different because I'm going to give my... blessing, or I'm gonna let a girl take her blessing. And what that means, I'm gonna fight the young girls coming up, and if they beat me, now they're the best. That's how you do it. My advice, Laila, is you will look a lot better, and people will stop calling you a hater and calling you jealous and old and bitter. If you actually stop hating, bro, you will look better if you was to support the black girl from Flint who made it out the trenches to where she at now. You will look a lot better. She wants to try to make it still seem like she's somewhat relevant in women's boxing. People give her props about how she built up women's boxing, and I just don't feel the same way. What really did you do for women's boxing? Like, you let it die. You let it die for 20 years, and then I had to come and put in all this extra work to get it to where it is now. I think that wasn't fair, and I don't think that she was as big as a pioneer in women's boxing as she thinks she was, because I would never do that. I would pass the torch.
There are hundreds and hundreds of women who have participated in the sport of boxing over the years. They have all made a contribution in their own way. We don't need to argue over who's done more. That destructive crab in a barrel mentality is exactly what we don't need in the sport. Here she is on a recent podcast explaining how she's passing the torch and that she has created a blueprint for success, which she is now sharing with other female fighters. She says that the number one thing they need to know is how to build their brand.
I actually promote a woman fighter, and I'm giving her all the jewels and stuff that I know so she can get her big paydays too. It's a blueprint now on how you make $1 million, even if you don't have the gold medals. The biggest blueprint is build your brand.
Oh, she must have forgot years ago she recorded this and said that I gave her the piece of advice that she is now referring to as the most valuable piece of information that you need to be successful. But supposedly I didn't support her and I didn't want to pass the torch.
Laila told me to build my brand, a good brand, and a brand that I want to represent and stand for. And she said, have good people behind me who I trust.
So this whole idea that she started about me being jealous because of her accolades and her surpassing me, do you realize that for years, fans have believed that there's so many fighters that are better than me? I mean, they have more titles than me. Multi-million-dollar fights are happening, more money than I ever made, more money than she's making. So I guess if I'm supposedly jealous of her, I must be hating on them too, right? Nope, I actually celebrate other women's success. I have relationships with those women. We have mutual respect. It's all love. She's the only one who decided to make herself my opposition. And she has created this drama and she's kept it going for the past 8 years. People came to know her because she kept calling out my name. She's obsessed with me and she literally cannot keep the name Laila Ali out her mouth. There are people who will say, she's confident, she talks trash. That's what fighters do. Yes, fighters talk. Nobody did it better than my father and me, and we backed it up. I've never had a problem with a fighter saying they could beat me or that they think they're better than me. That's expected. I don't consider that disrespect. But what I do have a problem with is a liar or someone who intentionally tries to disparage me in order to gain visibility and respect. As I mentioned in my interview on Sway, about 8 years ago, I offered her sparring during one of our phone conversations. I was like 40, 41. It was just to give her some work. Well, she changed that subject and never took me up on the sparring. So when I mentioned it on Sway, there was a lot of comments from the public because people were surprised that she wouldn't have taken that opportunity. Now, can you imagine if she and I were to get in the ring and spar back then? You know, there would have been camera phones, it would have been recorded. She would have proof of what she could do and vice versa. So I guess after the feedback and comments that she saw, she felt the need to take it to social media and put out an excuse.
On Sway, that if I was so tough that I would have sparred her for brownie points. I am a 2-time Olympic champ. Only thing that matters to me is what happened outside of practice. She talked about practice. Take the Ellen Iverson, talking about practice. I don't care about sparring nobody. I'll get in there and spar and work with anybody. All I care about is fighting. But like I said, she don't really care about this boxing.
So that was her response. Why sparring? It doesn't mean anything. But many years later, she comes up with a whole new story.
And the thing is, she keeps saying, one time she asked me to spar. Let me tell you this. Jason Crutchfield was my eyes and my ears back then because I was naive. I don't pay attention to stuff. Jason had already told me back then she feels some type of way. Coming in, gold medals and doing your thing, he was like, she feels some type of way. But she's still embracing you though. And I said, okay, whatever. But I had mad love for her though. So it was like, the closest thing to Muhammad Ali is Laila Ali. So I love this girl, you know what I'm saying? And looked into her, took her advice and everything. He said, when we going down here, because she had appointed me to give Muhammad Ali the Liberty Medal in Philadelphia. Now that when she asked me to spar, I said, you want to spar me? And that's when it was more of like a, dang, I hate that coach was right about you. I'm like, okay, well, we can spar when you want to spar. I got my stuff in the car. She's like, no, it ain't like that. I'm more about, let's not talk about it, let's be about it.
Now, you know that was a flat out lie. We know that if that were true, she would have said it years ago when it first was mentioned that she wouldn't spar me. There is absolutely no way she would have passed up the chance to tell everyone that she called my bluff and I backed down. Now, can you imagine if she and I were to get in the ring and spar back then? You know there would have been camera phones, it would have been recorded. She would have proof of what she could do and vice versa. I did an interview with Andre for his podcast too before I had a chance to see her episode. And if you go watch her interview, everything's I think this, somebody told me that, no facts. I need you to understand how deep this goes with this girl. Now I know she's on a constant search for validation. She needs to feel important and it's obvious she's fixated on me. But watch how she sits on The Breakfast Club, the same show she saw me on back in 2018 when I said I wasn't making a comeback. She goes on in 2020 after dragging my name for years and acts like she has no idea why I no longer support her or want anything to do with her. Now she knows The Breakfast Club is a national show with millions of listeners, so she's careful not to say anything negative about me because that wouldn't fit the story she's trying to sell. Instead, she plays it safe so she can position herself as the victim.
Do I want to fight a 41 or 40-year-old Laila Ali? No. I want to actually her embrace me, I embrace her, and we build women's boxing to the place where it's supposed to be at. But I don't think she sees that vision. Like she doesn't show me any kind of support. Like I see her all the time comment on this other boxer girl page, Katie Taylor, and always telling her congrats and everything. But then with me, it's like she don't show any kind of respect or acknowledgement. And I'm a black girl just like she is, who came apart, and I have to been making my way forever. Like I made my own way. I wasn't handed anything. Just about supporting each other. You know what I'm saying? But
I wonder why she wouldn't though. Like, what, did you say something about her back in the day?
I just think that in boxing, she feel like she never got her fair share. I feel like she never got to the point where she wanted to get to, and nobody people recognize Laila Ali, but they always try to say like, oh, she only was big because of her dad, and they don't really give her props on her skills. I'm not one of those people. And then some people say that she didn't fight Ann Wolf, but me being a woman fighter, now I realize that it's hard to make big fights with other big women. It really is. So think about it. Back then, when it wasn't a lot of money, wasn't TV exposure, I kind of can see why her and Ann Wolf didn't fight. But people's story is that she was scared of Ann Wolf, and Ann Wolf would have knocked her out. And that's their story.
3 months later, she takes her mask off and she's back to her usual story.
Well, Ann Wolf, you were a better fighter than her. And I believe that that's where this whole beef started from. That, you know, I spoke on that. She hates whenever your name gets mentioned. She still to this day mentions your name. Say how you were scared of her, how you didn't want to fight her. And I don't believe that for 1 second. And she may have a bigger name, but that's because women's boxing wasn't supported how we are now. If Laila Ali came up in this generation, she would not be known. Nobody would know of her. I know for a fact you would have put Laila Ali ass to sleep. So just because you couldn't do it, you know, you didn't have the opportunity because, you know, she didn't want to sign a paper to fight you. I'm letting you know now, I'm going to kick her ass for the both of us.
Yeah, we all know Laila ducked Ann Wolf. We know that. We don't got to, she know that. Everybody know that. It's literally written, I think, somewhere.
Now, I've seen this before with Ann Wolf, another fighter who used the same playbook. Both of these women have a lot in common in terms of the way they've been able to get visibility for themselves by using my name and making up lies. Since I'm in the season of pulling skirts, I'm gonna go ahead and pull hers too. And I'm gonna do another video on her next. That lie that I would not fight her has been told so many times as if it's a true fact. So I'll be gathering my receipts on her too, since she wants to start talking again. This one is so detached and delusional that she actually praises my father while trying to trash his daughter.
Yeah, we had Laila Ali, but she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing. Because I kind of feel like God wants me to be like the next Muhammad Ali. Because I kind of feel like God wants me to be like the next Muhammad Ali. I think it's Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, me. That's it. Learn from Muhammad Ali, if you don't value validate yourself first, nobody else ever will. You know, she wants to be like in the public and keep her name tied to mine because I'm young and popping. Right now it's my time, and she wants to keep her name connected to mine. Listen, Muhammad Ali would never. Her daddy would never. Her daddy would never. Maybe she don't have that in her genes.
Now, what father would embrace someone like her or want to be associated with someone like her while she's trying to tear down his very own child. My father was the greatest of all time because not only did he have a beautiful, one-of-a-kind style in the ring, he was also a remarkable individual outside of it. He used his platform to uplift and inspire people. He carried himself with integrity, kindness, and grace. He was someone our community could be proud of, and he represented us well. You know what my father would say? She's a generic wannabe. My father would not want to share his name or image with her. She does not represent anything about him in the ring or outside of the ring. Now, many of us, including myself, had high hopes for her. I supported her. I sent her off in the right direction, but she has become a disappointment. She is a horrible representation of both the sport and our culture.
Beneficial. Fuck them if they win against you. You don't need some bitches with you. Her man ain't got no balls, so you know he's big little. Knock them fake hoes, do it for the real women. I ain't fucked this nigga 2 years, still bitching. Girls who think they just so pretty, and just because they born light skinned that they just all that. That they can come on people's shit talking shit. I look better than you. I look better than you, so you can get off my shit. Light skin, red bone. Yeah, get your funny looking ass up out of here. I don't play with these hoes.
You have a clear picture of what our relationship was and what exactly happened in the past that led to today. Now, do you believe I'm jealous of her accomplishments? So in part 2, I'm going to discuss that $15 million offer and finally answer the question everyone wants to know. Will I be coming back to boxing to get that knockout? If you want to know when part 2 drops, turn on your notifications.
Yeah, that. Different seasons. We do it all, yeah. Yeah, I got riders from all sides, we locked in. Stock 10, these niggas think they got me boxed in. When I shoot, I'm something like top 10. Hitting targets, and won't stop neither, they shouldn't have got me started. These niggas knowing who the hardest, we don't play at all. Different guns for different seasons. Nigga, we told them all, choppers for the fall. Semis for the summer. Winter we talk lots, yeah, it get cold around this motherfucker. Yeah, it get cold around this bitch. Give me that Baymac hoodie. What you know about Raymond Washington? Stanley took it. Can't bring the homies to my shows, don't even book me. Cause we frontline. Put it in my contract, I signed a dotted line. Yeah, we be outside, tatted up with no shirts on. He been hanging around for a minute, time to get put it on. We stand strong. Here for a minute, I ain't staying long. We back to back. And serve niggas just like ping pong. Thermals with them hoodies on. It get cold where we at. My bitch said I did a cold. Calling me like, where you at? I be on them hot blocks. Pull up, get your ass wet. Summertime, push-ups and pull-ups. 7 a set. Raised by a gangster. Ocho Siete. Slamming dominoes with my unk. Hollering out Fente. It'll be a melee, just give me a reason. Different quetes for different seasons. Nigga, we do it all. Yeah, I got riders from all sides, we locked in. Stock 10, these niggas think they got me boxed in. When I shoot, I'm something like top 10. Hitting targets, and won't stop neither, they shouldn't have got me started. These niggas knowing who the hardest, we don't play at all. Different guns for different seasons. Nigga, we told them all, choppers for the fall. Semis for the summer. Winter we talk lots, yeah, it get cold around this motherfucker. Ackwood stuff a whole eighth. And for that check, I ain't never late. My name good, any whole weight. Ask me where I'm from, I'm gon' tell you. I don't hesitate. A to the 8, both up, I don't separate. Disrespect the game that I demonstrate. Squabble up, cause I ain't finna wait. Cause let's get this out the way. My fist, we come out and play, this shit don't stop. Generation after generation, I get it from my pops. Quick to holler with that sim like OZ and termite. Outside like roaches when they turn on them street lights. We do it all. Hand toe choppers for the fall, cause we be gunning. That thing hold a whole 100. got them niggas running. Them niggas thought that I was bluffing. I'm David Ruffin. These slugs will make your heart stop pumping. Still thugging. And no, I don't need a reason. We be at it all 4 seasons. We do it all. Yeah, I got riders from all sides. We locked in. Stock 10. These niggas think they got me boxed in. When I shoot, I'm something like top 10. Hitting targets and won't stop neither. They shouldn't have got me started. These niggas knowing who the hardest. We don't play at all. Different guns for different seasons. Nigga, we told them all. Choppers for the fall. Semis for the summer. Winter we talk glossy. It get cold around this motherfucker.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control them. The same strategy that was used in those days is used today by the same white man. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent, build him up, publicize him, make him a celebrity, and then he becomes a spokesman for Negro and a Negro leader.
Snake Wood and that personal. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe, stay tuned, all that.